So I'm noticing there's a lot of furniture here. When I start to bring buyers through and they're making offers, am I including the furniture? It's an assumptive close. You know how many times I do that in my presentation? In my pre-qual. Hey, I noticed that you did mention to me that you have a small mortgage on the property, about $250,000. Is that correct? Were you thinking you wanted to act like a bank, maybe hold a note or hold paper for a buyer? Or are you thinking you just want to get all your cash at the closing when we're there, signing papers? It's an assumptive close. In your mind, psychologically, and in their mind, they're already there. So I do that, again, 5 and 6 times in the expired call, in the pre-qual, right after the expired call, and then in the listing presentation itself. You are assumptively closing them because guys, I'm going in there to get the appointment. I'm not going in there as like, this isn't like a fact-finding mission where I'm gonna tell them what their property's worth and then I leave and they go and list with someone else. No. I'm getting signatures on the listing agreement. That's why I'm there. And I truly and wholeheartedly believe there isn't anybody that can do it better than I can in my area. So that's why, I mean, again, I've beaten top agents and I've lost to top agents. And that's how the ball bounces. But you got to have that confidence and the skill to go in there and, you know, whether it's a $200,000 home or a $2 million home, it doesn't matter. You got to have the skills to walk in there and know that, you know, you are the best for the job and you have the skills to do it. Because think about it. Everybody, you know, when I say to somebody like, what separates you from another agent? Well, I work really hard. I'm going to be there for my clients, you know, all the time, whenever they call. Everybody can do it. Everybody does that. Everybody's going to be there for them when they call. Everybody's going to work hard. What do I tell them? Well, I have the skills to get you bona fide offers, and I have the negotiating skills to get those offers up to the absolute max, and most of those buyers are willing to pay for you. Those are the skills that I have. And I'm going to demonstrate that skill right in front of you by asking for your signature on this contract. Because I'm going to imagine that's going to be very important for you and the agent that you hire. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Awesome. So let's get to work today. Any other questions before we take care of the paperwork? No? Okay, great. And you get the paperwork done. So assumptive closes are very important too with that. But with these expired, so with expired scripts, and I'm going to give these to you. And some of these have they have my handwriting on it, but I've written on these so many times. I dug these out of the archives of my paperwork. Again, if you guys call this lead source, this is a never-ending lead source. It just can feed you and feed you. And I made my first $100,000 just calling these, just calling these every day, 2 to 3 hours every day. What I would say is this, is whatever your primary lead source is, if you add expireds to that lead source, you will add another 1 to 2 homes that you will list every month. You will. So if you're listing, again, 18 to 20, you will be listing 30 to 40 homes. If you're normally listing a little over 1 a month. So a little over 1 home a month is like 18 homes. So if you just add this and call these 2 to 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, you will get another home to possibly 2 a month. What does that equate to? You'll be listing 30 homes a month, a little over 30. And what's our average, Eric, what's our average commission in our area?
About 10,000.
What are we talking about here, guys? So $120,000, 10 times 12 is what, 120? Talking about another 120 grand. This is the sauce. This is the secret sauce. This is a lead source, but people don't call these because they're intimidated because they don't know what to say. What's that?
I'm very new, and I did call expires, and I haven't done it since my very first time. On my very, 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 very first call.
How'd it go when you called them?
Oh my God, it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was introduce myself and say hello. I didn't go anywhere else. I couldn't say anything else. I was practicing what I was going to say. And all I said was, hello, I'm Edith, and she just told me a lot of expletive words.
Sure.
And yelled at me.
Because you're probably number 50 of calling her.
Yeah, and I probably started calling like 9, so I don't know how many people called her prior to me calling her. And that's all I heard was just a whole bunch of bad words.
Yeah.
And she hung up the phone.
Yep.
And I haven't picked up the phone to make a similar call since.
There are agents that will call these people at 7 o'clock in the morning. I think it's insane. I think it's nuts.
I would be.
Yeah, and there are other how do I word this? There are other speakers that have scripts like this that tell you have to be the absolute first person to call these people in the morning. And I think it's insane. You're cold calling, but you're not cold calling because they actually were listed. And there's so many ways to kind of, you know, you can get around it. Yeah, there's loopholes to that. For sale by owners they're tough too. They require two things for sale by owners. Ridiculous amounts of follow-up, like ridiculous amounts. And also like, you think like an insane amount of approval. Because everyone, 99.999% of agents are telling for sale by owners they're wrong for listing it themselves. But you're not going to do that. You're going to come from them from a place of contribution, not from you're wrong for listing it. Because everybody's telling them they can do it better, they can do it better, they can do it better. Maybe on my next seminar I'll go over them. I'll do it for sale by owner. Because the script I have for that is kind of similar to this, but there's different questions you have to ask them. Because really what they're doing, I mean, think about it. Like when you go to the doctor, do you want a doctor who's done one surgery or one who's done 200? You want one who's done 200. Well, usually for sale by owners haven't sold a home in their life. But why would you put something like that kind of money into your own hands? It's insane. You shouldn't do it. So it ends up costing them more money in the long run. And how I get them to self-discover that is just through the logic of the questions I'm asking them. And that's all you're doing here. All this is, guys, is self-discovery through logic. I'm not telling them anything. Selling is not telling. I'm sure you've heard that 100 times. It's just asking questions. But this is a script that is self-discovery. My listing presentation, it's self-discovery through logic. My pre-qual, self-discovery through logic. All I'm doing is getting them to understand. Pricing property. That's the next one I'm going to do, is how to properly price property. Guys, if you price it the way that I will show you, you will never have an expired listing, ever. Never, ever, ever. I think I might have had one in my career, to be honest with you. One or two in my 12 years of doing this. Because I don't tell them I never ever walk in there with a price on my listing agreement. I walk in there with 3 actives, 3 solds. I show them what's working. I show them what's not working. Where do you want to be? Now I'll go through that script when the next time I do one of these, but I don't tell them anything as far as price. They figure it out themselves, and it's a very smooth and easy script. You're showing them one way, another way. What way do you think is going to serve you best? Well, this way, okay, and that's great because that's what most sellers generally choose. Now, knowing that, where do you feel comfortable coming into the market as far as listing your home so you are the next obvious choice to sell? So let's just take a quick look here back at these information. What we see here, we know with 100% certainty, $800,000 isn't working because we can see they've been on the market for over 2 months. Would you agree? Yeah, okay. What we do know is that $740,000 is working because I was only on the market for 17 days, right? Yeah, okay. So we know this isn't working. We do know this is. Whatever plans this seller had to move are out the window. I know you need to be in wherever motivation in this time frame. So knowing that now, where would you feel comfortable coming in so we know that your home is the next obvious one to go off the market and sell?
So you always let them choose the right number?
Always.
Based on facts? Just
based on facts. But nowhere in that am I telling them what to do. Nowhere. They will self-discover through what is selling and what's not. And how, but it's all in how you present it. Everything is always in the presentation. How you present the price. The words you're using. The verbiage you're using. It's all like this is a collaboration with them. I always tell them, like, listen, we're in this together. Like this is a collaboration between you and I. I'm now you're hiring me to sell your home, and I'm going to do that because I am a professional at it. But we're going to do this together as a team. I'm going to be in touch with you every week, so you know what's happening with your listing. So when you do have to go for those price reductions, because sometimes you may need to, it's not a surprise to them that you're calling them for it. Because every Friday you're going to call them and say, hey, no, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, just want to give you your weekly update. You have a couple minutes? Yeah, great, awesome. So we had 3 showings this week, which I'm sure you're aware of. Yeah, I saw those come through. Awesome. So the good news is what we're doing here is working as far as our marketing, getting your property out to everybody, to the buying public. We had the 3 showings, but we do have a small bit of concern. Can I share that with you? Yeah. Well, we don't have any offers yet. So what that tells us is the buyers that are out there, they're seeing enough value to look. They're just not seeing enough value to buy and put an offer down. So what that tells us, we're just off a little bit on the number. And what we'll do is we'll go over right now what that number will be. And you tell me what you feel comfortable with as far as if we're going to make a price adjustment or not. You have 3 options, whichever option you choose. I'll support you 100%. Okay? Great. First option is we keep the property right as is. We don't change the price. Kind of hope and wish that a buyer's going to come in and actually put an offer together. We haven't had that yet. And I know that you needed to be down in Miami by May 1st. Now, is that still the case or has something changed? No, still the case. Okay, great. That leaves us with option 2, is we can just pull the home off the market and you can keep it. Now, let me ask you, is it an option for you not to sell this property but still make the move to Miami? Maybe rent it out. No, we need the proceeds of this to take there. Okay, got it. That leads us to our 3rd option, which is what most sellers do in your situation, is we just make an adjustment to the price. Okay? Now, because we're having offers, showings but no offers, that lets us know we're only off probably 3 to 5% on our number based on our local market statistics. Okay? So that would bring us to from a $750,000 price right down to about $720,000, $725,000. Now, can I have your signature here? We can get that property on the market at $725,000, get you guys down to Miami by May 1st.
What did you say it was off by? 3%?
Usually 3 to 5. If you're getting little to no showings and no offers, you're probably 10% off or more. So, and you go over all of this with them in the listing presentation. So, though that's like a quick price reduction. Like that's how you would go for a price. But again, it's not a surprise to them because you're talking to them every week. And they know what's happening. Because when you're at the presentation and say they want to, they want to list it on the higher end, because I give them 2 options, here and here. Because of how I present it, they're almost always going to choose here. But you'll get a certain portion of the population that wants to start out up here. And I say, hey, no problem, we can definitely do that. This home is yours, you're the boss. Whatever you decide to do, I'm going to support you 100%. Okay? Now, we know that we're going to be starting out significantly higher than what is selling. And I want to keep you on schedule to get down to Miami in the time that you want. So if after a couple weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, we're not getting the amount of showings and offers that we had hoped, we can always talk about, circling back and adjusting the price more in line with what is selling. Sound fair to you? Sounds fair. That's at the listing presentation. So you're already preempting them if you need to adjust the price, because most likely you will. And what I want to do in sharing this information with you is to open your eyes to what could be or what's out there. Real estate is changing. Title's changing. Lending's changing. Everything in this industry is changing. And there was a massive change in 07, 08